Welcome to the Glam Life Podcast, where we empower and inspire beauty professionals to take their careers to the next level. Your host, Victoria, is a certified business coach with over a decade of experience in the beauty industry, helping countless beauty professionals start and grow successful businesses. Now she's sharing her knowledge and expertise with you. Whether you're just starting out in the beauty industry or looking to take your business to new heights, this podcast is for you, covering topics like community, management, branding, and much more. So join us on this journey to build the beauty business of your dreams.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Glam Life Podcast. I'm your host, Victoria Rocca. You might know me as Victoria Glam if you follow me over on Instagram, and if you don't, you totally should. Also, you can follow this podcast at the Glam Life Podcast on Instagram, and you can watch full videos now available directly on YouTube, which you can find at Victoria Rocca, R-A-C-C-A. That's my channel, or I think youtube.com/Victoria Glam TV. All the things, right? So I can link that for you. Today is a solo episode. It's just me and you, girly. And I want to talk to you about something that honestly, it might be unpopular. It might be. And that's okay. I don't mind being unpopular. I don't mind. So you might hear some noise because I'm doing my makeup this morning. But I wanted to chat. I want to have a conversation, just you and I. Because sometimes I find that things that I go through, IRL, are things that you might need to hear also. So I think that it's time somebody said it. If nobody has said it to you yet, I'll go ahead and say it now. Sometimes in business and in life, honestly, somebody could have told me this when I was, dating in college. I think sometimes it's okay to give up on people. And I'm not kidding. I think sometimes it's okay to straight up give up on people. And let me give you an example. If you sit down and you make a list of all the things you have done to help someone to do whatever the task is, and you find that it's a pretty long list, then I challenge you to go ahead and make a list of all the things that person has tried to do whatever it is that you are trying to help this person do. If your list is longer than their list, stop trying. Stop helping. Stop caring. I know it's very difficult. That's the part that's hard, right? Especially when it comes to men. I don't know why, when we're younger, we think we can fix men. We can save men. We can help them. I'm going to help him get back on track. Girl, he is not a project. He is somebody's son, and let her do that. That is her problem. That is not your problem. You didn't have any kids yet. And if you did, mind them kids. Don't worry about this one. That's somebody else's kid. Stop it. In business, it's the same, and it'll cost you so much money. It costs you way more than you're thinking. So if you're thinking that somebody who works for you or a partner or somebody who you just are friends with who's all trying to get in the industry, struggling in the industry, if you think that you can want it so bad that it does it for them, you're wrong. You are wrong. They have to be driven. And I think that is a byproduct of being a really high-functioning, high achiever, of being a high achiever. Yes, you become the bonfire that attracts all of the fireflies. And fireflies are beautiful. And they also have a light to them, do they not? So you're kind of like, okay, are you like me? Are you like me? And they're thinking, yeah, girl, I'm just like you. I want to be just like you. Like, you have this huge, huge flame. I just have this tiny one. But can you help me get a huge flame? Like, how did you do it? And you're like, yeah, sure, I can help you. And you try. And that for a while, the firefly tries too. But then after a while, the firefly realizes it is not a bonfire. And it's not going to do the things it needs to do to become a bonfire. So you're still killing yourself trying to get their flame to be as big as yours. And actually, Alexa, what's the life expectancy for a firefly?
The average lifespan of a firefly is 2 months. These insects have a short life expectancy, which is typical for most insects. However, there are some fireflies that can live for up to 5 years, making them one of the longer-lived species.
Wow. Okay. So fireflies, you can probably expect them to burn out in 2 months or less. And then some of them, according to Alexa just now, are a little deceiving, not on purpose. They're not doing anything wrong. I mean, living isn't doing anything wrong, right? So apparently some of them can live up to 5 years. So this struggle could go on for quite some time with you pouring into them and their mission and trying to get it all figured out. And what you're doing is you're wasting your own resources, your own time, your own efforts, trying to turn a firefly into a bonfire. And guess what? You never will. You never will. Because it's impossible. Fireflies don't become a bonfire. So, in the words of the late, great Super Bowl artist, Usher, let it burn, baby. Let it burn. You are not going to change other people. All you're going to do is squander your own resources, your own opportunities. And, it's like, here's another metaphor for you. People tell you this all the time, right? If someone is drowning, you don't jump in to save them. You throw them a life raft, and then they have to do the work. Because if you jump in, you'll drown with them. They will unintentionally drown you, trying to save themselves. That is the same in the situation we are talking about right now. If there is another artist who works in your shop, if there is another, girl in your family who's dying to be in this industry, but doesn't do any of the actual work. If there is a former classmate of yours who says, hey, how can I do what it is that you do? And you have given them the whole playbook and you have given them guidance and they are not doing the thing. Guess what? You are wasting your own resources, your own time, your own effort, your own education. Because let's face it, even if you didn't pay for a class to learn what it is you learn, you earned it in sweat equity in your business, right? That is, I built my business on credit cards. Now, I am not advocating that you do that. I am not. I am a large bonfire. I am. There's no challenge too big for me. I am foolhardy, actually. I'll burn for anything. No big deal to me. I am foolhardy, absolutely. I'm the biggest bonfire in the world. There's no fire, no piece of wood. I don't know how you would incorporate that into this metaphor. There's nothing that I won't attempt. If I want it, I will try it. I am the biggest bonfire. So I built my business on credit cards, and I do not advocate that you do it. You know why? Because I have learned in almost 10 years of being in this business that most people are not as driven as me. And that's not a diss at anybody. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. Matter of fact, I just called myself a fool. Most people are not as delusional as I am, but I am delusional coupled with ambition, coupled with drive, coupled with ADHD, energy. So yeah, I built my 3 businesses, the Microblading Institute, my personal cosmetics business, and Brow Sister, on credit cards. In absolutely no way I'm telling you to do this. Please note, I am not telling you to do this. This is what I did. So my business was too young to get a line of credit, in addition to me having just gotten a big mortgage because I bought commercial real estate. I got my big 4,300 square foot building and I got the land next door. So as I needed to pour into inventory or, making the next batch of pink gel or creating pink cream or, doing the build out inside the actual building, I did not have a line of credit to pull from. So I also didn't have that much cash on hand. I mean, I think the build out alone was like 60 grand. So what I did was I wound up putting it on credit cards piece by piece. So, okay, how much do I need for this payment? How much do I need for that payment? And I had a substantial amount of credit card limits. So I just put it on that. And then I have been aggressively paying that shit for a very long time, Like a $6,000 a month credit card payment is nothing to me. I'm telling you right now, interest alone was going to eat me alive. So I was putting every dollar I made to pay off these credit cards. Now I am 1 week away. By Friday of this week, I fully expect to be $0 in credit card debt. Just looking at what's left on the one card that's not paid off yet. So big celebratory week for me. But this is a great example of how most people are not that driven. Most people are not going to pay off $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 in credit cards in 2 years. Most people are not going to do that. So while that was a great method for me, if someone came and asked me, how did you do it? And I told them, oh yeah, you just put it on credit card. That would be super irresponsible of me, knowing that most people are not going to do the things that I did to make it happen. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? I am no Susie Orman, okay? Dave Ramsey would have a fucking stroke. So I don't walk around giving people financial advice. I don't feel particularly qualified. Sure, I've had lots of success in that arena. I have somehow managed to cover all of my personal bills and provide for my family and not lose my mortgage and continue to actually grow my business while making $6,000, $7,000 a month in credit card payments. That's crazy talk. Most people are not going to do that. And the same can be said for whatever it is you have done to make yourself get to the level of business you are at, wherever it is you are. If you're fully booked and somebody's asking, how do you get fully booked? Whatever it is you did to do that, guarantee you 9 out of 10 people asking you are not going to do it. People hear advice all the time. Girl, I learned this in coaching hardcore. You can tell someone exactly what to do. And in coaching, people have paid me. In some instances, people have paid me quite a bit. Well, they paid somebody quite a bit. And here I am telling them exactly what to do. Exactly what to do. And they don't do it. And they don't do it. Let me tell you. Okay, coaching story. Let me tell you. I had this lady who was a student of mine. And I told her on our very first meeting, she was telling me she was having this issue with a recently let go employee. Now, the employee, I think, probably would have exited on her own, but this owner instead decided to let her go. Now, listen, I don't want to get into management tactics and all of that, but I will say this was definitely a misclassified employee. And I clocked that immediately, okay? So I was kind of gently saying, like, why did you classify her this way? Or why is that the rule at your shop? And, just kind of like poking into the situation. She starts telling me, my husband. This is why I always got a problem with husbands who jump into a beauty business. Sorry, that might not be fair, but I've seen it so many times that you now have to prove to me that you're not one of those husbands instead of me trying to figure out if you're one of those husbands. I just assume you are until you prove that you're not. So I'm telling her like, okay, how many successful beauty businesses has your husband run? 0, none, not a 1. It's not this one. So he gets on the call and proves to me exactly who I thought he was. He's like, well, I'm going to be going back to my job later. That's the one that pays our bills and stuff. Sir, you didn't even give this business a chance. Do you know how businesses work? They don't turn profit right away, baby. So he's telling me that he's going to be going back to his business. I'm thinking sigh of relief. Great, because they've paid for coaching. So it'll be me and the actual boots on the ground business owner who provides services and has day-to-day conversations with the employees. I can be effective here. He tells me, so you're going to have to help her run it because there's no way she can do it on her own. Anna May, eat that cake. What are you saying to me, sir? And that is how the remainder of our coaching student relationship went. Every time I would give her advice or, coaching instruction on how to handle the situation that was continuing to amplify with this former employee who was let go and probably was wrongly terminated. I don't know. I don't remember. I have to look at my notes, and definitely was misclassified. As this continued to amp up, I would say, I think you should let it go. I think you should do this. I think you should focus more on the company culture, blah, 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 right? This man in the sidelines, when she got off the call, would be like, no, do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that, do this. Okay, so of course, they wound up in court. I'm laughing because, this could have been avoided. They wound up in court. And she couldn't believe that she lost the court case. And she continued to show up to the next 2 or 3 coaching meetings before she quit with a sour attitude, angry, complaining that the judge was biased. And she couldn't believe that some of her current employees sat on the side of the terminated employee, and on and on and on. And I just could not get through to her and tell her, bro, I told you. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you I told you so. I'm just trying to say, don't you see now? Can't you see it now? Monday morning quarterback can see the play's mistakes very easily. Can't you see where I told you don't do this or else this will happen, and you did it, and then this happened? Don't you see it? She didn't want to hear that. She just wanted me to tell her she was doing great and everything was fine. Everything was not fine. And then she exited coaching. So in doing that, I have learned that some people are just not, I'm not going to say she's beyond help. Maybe somebody else could help her. Maybe it's just, we met at the wrong time because she had somebody else in her ear giving her terrible advice and she implicitly trusted that person. She didn't know me super well, so why would she trust me over that person? What do I have? Just 3 really successful businesses. What do I know? But also, maybe she needed to hear it from a different voice. Maybe I was not the right voice for her. Maybe I wasn't getting through. Maybe I wasn't, you kind of have to speak the same language kind of thing. Even though we both speak English, I'm not talking about actual language. If you don't come from the same place, if you don't feel like this person really understands me and my company culture and whatever, if it doesn't feel connection there, then I could tell her till I'm blue in the face, she's not going to hear me. Do you know what I mean? So maybe I had some hand in that without even knowing it. But I can't change who I am. I can't change who I am or what my voice is. So at that point, what should I do? What should I do? Should I continue to call this person and tell her, how's it going? What are you doing? Have you tried this? Have you tried? Nah, she gave up. Why should I keep trying? It's not my business. Does it make me any money if she does better? No. Does it lose me any money if she doesn't do better? No, not at all. No. If you are uncoachable, how can I possibly help as a coach? Uncoachable. How can I help? I can't. I cannot be effective. And I have learned since maturing in my coaching journey and also since taking the reins as a coach and being in charge of my own coaching, I've learned that if it's one of those situations, I cut you off. I say, listen, I don't think I'm the coach for you. And I don't want to continue working together. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of my biggest resource, time. I can't do it. And honestly, I also now almost a decade into this career, I choose peace every time. I choose peace. I choose not to continue to stress myself out. And in 2024, you might not see it because it's probably not going to be surface level, but I will continue to choose not to participate in things that stress me out, lose me money, or don't contribute to me earning money. Because what the fuck am I in business for if it's not to earn money? Right? Truthfully, honestly. What are you working at your job for if you're not getting paid? Not me. Couldn't be. I saw a meme recently that said how you should never say, that's not my job at work. You should never say that. And there were a whole lot of Aunt Karen's and Aunt Brenda's in the comments saying, oh yes, I was so grateful. Somebody pulled me aside when I was fresh out of high school, had my first job. I said, that's not my job. Somebody was asking me to do a very time-consuming task that I don't get paid extra for. My job was to answer the phones and answer emails and take out the trash and clean the place. And they wanted me to do this long data entry project, which is somebody else's project, but they were out. And they, a girlfriend of mine who I knew from working there pulled me aside and said, you should never say that's not my job because it makes you seem like you're not a team player and you might be passed over for promotions otherwise. And all these people were liking that comment and agreeing with that comment and saying, absolutely, kids today don't understand work ethic and blah, 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 blah. I understand what they're saying, but those days are long gone. Those days are long gone because let me tell you something. That promotion that she may or may not have, the phantom promotion that didn't even exist, that they were saying you might get a promotion one day or you might not based on how you're treating these excess tasks people give you, it doesn't exist. Just so you know, it doesn't exist. And if anyone ever decides to promote your title, you're not getting equitable bump in pay for that. You're just getting more tasks. Just so you know. Super true. That is not how corporations operate, especially in today's world when regulations, fees, fines, inventory, everything costs more, licenses, inspections, insurance. It all costs more. There's not a big bucket of money that CEOs are hoarding. Well, maybe like Fortune 500 companies, but mom and pop shops with, 10, 15 employees, they're not hoarding away money somewhere and refusing to pay you. there's not money. So if the task isn't worth it, don't think that you're going to get a pat on the head and told that you're a good girl and somebody's going to magically give you a bump in pay. That's not going to happen. And when we work in a beauty business for ourselves, if you are not an employee that generates income, someone who's in sales or someone who provides service, if all you do is minor data entry and somebody starts asking you, be a team player, can you go ahead and, go do some marketing or go and do whatever? That's sales job, baby. And if I'm not getting a portion of that, I'm not doing that. And if you're a coach or an educator and people are in your DMs asking you for free advice, for free critique of their work, what happened with this? Why did this turn blue? Should I work over this or should I send them somewhere for removal? How could I remove this? Or what color should I use? Blah, blah, blah. Stop doing it. Stop answering. Stop answering. First of all, I cannot possibly give you all of my color theory or removal knowledge via DM anyway. And secondly, I paid a lot of money for the classes, licenses, and certifications to learn that. And I spent a ton of time of my actual adult life trial and erroring this out on people, figuring this shit out, seeing how this healed, why it healed this way. And that's what mentorship is for. And that's what we offer, right? You offer mentorship or you are an educator. If you sell classes, stop. Why are you breaking your back for other people who are not breaking their back for you? Because I guarantee you, when you tell them the answer via DM, they're going to go in a Facebook group and they're going to recommend somebody else's class. It's funny because I've seen it. And when it's the little girl down the street who's desperate to get into the beauty industry and she really wants a mentor, you don't have to charge her to be a mentor. You can just be nice if you want to. That's up to you. I mean, if your career is being a mentor, being an educator, sure. But if it's just, your cousin's little sister, little stepsister, or whatever, who's dying to get into the industry and you just want to give her pointers and help her out, great. You want to give her an apprenticeship? Cool. If she decides that she's never going to post on her Facebook trying to get clients or on her Instagram trying to get clients, she's not going to make TikToks, she's not going to make reels, she's never going to come and sit and just watch because she doesn't have any clients, she's not coming in. She doesn't want to do those things for herself to get paid because she is her own boss as a beauty industry service provider. If she doesn't want to do those things, you cannot do them for her. You cannot do them for her. You can't want it more than she wants it. If she is going to pay you booth rent for one of her beds and she never can afford the booth rent, maybe she's not cut out for this. Maybe it's not for her. Get somebody else. Somebody just texted me, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it in today to look at your room for rent. Great. I'm not rescheduling. Your first time at bat and you couldn't come in, I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered. You know what? This podcast might come off as a little salty or fiery, but I'm telling you, in 2024, I am going to be the person who tells you to stop, to quit, to cut it out. Focus on the things that pay you. Focus on the things that pay you. When people say mind your business, I want you to think about your LLC. Mind your LLC. Does this pay me? If it doesn't, stop giving it your time, your energy, and your money, because your money is not going to come from these extra things. And if it's not about money in your business, why are you doing it? Why? Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Bonfires can burn out. And you cannot relight a bonfire, okay? It takes a long time to get that many leaves, twigs, boxes, and whatever else you're going to burn into a huge pile. It takes a long time to amass that amount of, I don't know what to call it, that big of a stash, And once you're out of it, you'd either have to start collecting all over again, or you could do it the easy way and just keep dumping a log on one at a time and keep the fire burning. Keep your fire burning. Stop confusing yourself with fireflies. And don't let your whole bonfire burn out. Keep going, and keep focused on your fire, keeping your fire burning, because it's easy to burn out. But once you've burnt out, it's very hard to restart that size of a fire in yourself again. Okay, you go and enjoy your week. Don't forget to answer your DMs. I'm sure you will. And I'll probably get a couple nasty ones after stating the obvious here too. That's selfish. Well, that's business. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.